Prologue of this story. They took out a mortgage on their properties to expand and open the largest mixed veterinary clinic in Texas, where church members now gather once a month for a picnic. They are a united, happy family full of faith until one night when one of the daughters, Anna, experienced stomach pain. Yet nothing had really changed from their daily routine. Christy and Kevin spent the night worrying about their daughter's health and the potential failure of their new venture. Like any concerned mother, Christy sensed that something was wrong. Anna consulted a specialist after seeing 3 general practitioners with no significant improvement. She was eventually diagnosed with gastroesophageal reflux disease due to lactose intolerance, and dietary restrictions were imposed on her. She tried to adhere to the diet, but the discomfort became increasingly unbearable over time. One night, she let out uncontrollable cries of distress, prompting her parents to rush her to the hospital. The same diagnosis was given for the 4th time when she consulted another doctor. Christy was shocked by the doctor's diagnosis and angrily argued that these symptoms ruled out any possibility of reflux. Christy requested a re-evaluation or to be seen by another doctor, but the dismissive attitude of the doctor infuriated her until she lost her temper and yelled at him. The head of the pediatric department eventually arrived and examined Anna. He believed in a mother's instinct, and unfortunately, Anna's condition was much worse than expected. She was suffering from a complete abdominal obstruction that, if left untreated, would be fatal. In order to undergo urgent surgery, the young girl must immediately undergo a series of unpleasant and potentially painful operations. The doctor explains her condition, assuring her that she suffers from an incurable intestinal disorder, and sends her home with strict instructions to stabilize her condition. He mentions that there is a specialist who deals with such incurable cases and recommends that she consult him upon her return. Christian refugees are the only characters in the family's routine changes when they learn about Anna's health condition. Despite her fragile appearance, she's doing well, although her abdomen continues to abnormally enlarge due to the huge demand for the specialist's services. Christine cannot secure an appointment with him in the coming days, and the more she learns that time is running out, the more desperate she becomes. Despite the constant prayers from the church, Christine loses her faith. To help her relax and enjoy life again, Kevin surprises her with a dog named Napoleon, which fills her with joy. However, this adds extra work to Christy's plate, and the situation worsens throughout the day. Kevin and Christy argue frequently to the point where Christine feels uncomfortable going to church. Her sister witnesses everything happening, feeling unhappy and fearful for her. She prays to God for Anna's complete recovery, but instead of improving, Anna's condition worsens, so they can't just sit idly by. They decide to take Anna to Boston without an appointment. However, the doctor, as expected, refuses to see her without a prior appointment. Christy pleads with the receptionist for help, explaining the severity of Anna's condition, the pain she is experiencing, and the medications she is taking. The receptionist is sympathetic and sorry, but she can't do anything without an appointment. She can feel Christine's sadness and grief after her departure. She goes into a restaurant where she meets Angela, a kind flight attendant. Learning that they are not from the area, Angela offers to show them around the city by giving them a guided tour. The young girl is so enthusiastic about the idea that she pleads with her mother to stay a few more days. The tour is a great success, indicating that the concept is fantastic overall. The most memorable part is Anna's visit to the aquarium. Christy receives a sudden phone call, a confirmation of an appointment for the next day at Dr. Nurko's office. Christy feels a resurgence of her faith and optimism. Dr. Nurko is a unique pediatrician who has a special rapport with his young patients, using jokes and pranks to make them forget they are supposed to be there until he's done with them. Do you speak French? Oh la la, Mardi Gras Carnival, please Marie, yes, but mademoiselle. However, during a conversation with Christy, it becomes clear that the doctor has lost some of his charm. He insists that he is truly serious, albeit awkwardly. He uses visuals to explain the incurable blockage presented in Anna's case, showing to what extent pain and obstruction can be alleviated by very powerful medication, although not necessarily cured. After the initial 6-month treatment period, she must bring Anna for a follow-up examination to ensure there has been no adverse reaction to the medication. Christine can't even pray anymore because she has lost all hope. This woman is married to a man who understands her, even though Kevin and his family are not in the best financial situation. He always finds a way to ensure that Anna attends all her doctor's appointments. Christy is aware of her resentment towards God, even though the pastor has tried to intervene on her behalf to bring her back to church. She has refused to return. Several months later, during one of Anna's appointments with Dr. Nurko, she arrives with green vomit and agrees to undergo further tests to monitor her condition. Once the emergency is over, she is allowed to go home, where she forms a friendship with her terminally ill roommate. The latter realizes that Anna has a strong belief in God and is not afraid of death. Later, she adds a cross-shaped pendant to her necklace. That night, Anna is in agony because the painkillers haven't worked. The poor young girl is exhausted and ready to go home. She starts crying and tells her mother that she wants to die to go to heaven where there is no suffering. Christy, with a broken heart, holds her tightly in her arms. The next day, Anna is very angry. Kevin and the girls plan a trip to Boston, but they encounter financial issues at the airport. Despite having to pay overdraft fees at the bank, with his daughter now as an accomplice, they manage to board the plane. Despite all their efforts, Anna still feels depressed and isn't interested in anything until her father and sisters arrive. They take joy in turning the room into a pillow fight, as family is the best remedy. The doctor suggests taking Anna to a psychologist and suggests that she spends as much time as possible with her family before her departure, as the doctor ordered. The family is now at home, and while Anna and her sister go outside to play, Christy calls the psychologist. All three climb a very old tree, just as they have done countless times before. However, a branch unexpectedly breaks and it falls over 10 meters into the tree's hollow. Her helpless parents call the firefighters and they, along with journalists, arrive immediately. 3 hours have passed, and they still haven't managed to get her out. She appears to be dead after hitting her head and not responding to calls. Christy implores God to spare her pain and suffering at the base of the tree while firefighters struggle to get her out. The firefighters' plan eventually works after several hours, and she is still alive, albeit unconscious. She has been sent to the hospital, the nearest hospital to receive treatment. The attending physician was shocked that her injuries were limited to superficial scrapes and scratches given the severity of the fall. The apparent absence of injuries, particularly bruises and fractures, is a true miracle. During a typical week at home, Christy realizes that Anna no longer needs medication because she no longer has pain. She can play normally, and her abdomen has returned to normal. Something unusual happened to her when she fell into the tree hollow, she tells her parents. After everything turned black, she says her mind left her. What was even stranger is that she was watching her own body. However, the beautiful butterfly proved that she wasn't there. At first, she had no idea where she was, but she felt perfectly safe. What a beautiful garden. Then, she listened to God as she rose above the clouds. She considered staying, but God informed her that she should return, promising that everything would be fine when she did. As he believed she wasn't telling the truth, he decided not to tell anyone for now to confirm his daughter's stories. Christy takes her back to Boston, where Dr. Nurko is shocked to see that everything is working perfectly. He doesn't understand how an incurable disease can heal on its own, so he looks for a scientific explanation. The doctor realizes that it's a miracle and that he will never see her again. So he sadly says goodbye to her and to God. The family then says goodbye to Angela and expresses their gratitude for everything she has done for Anna and her mother. In a reasonable amount of time, their ordeal has been widely covered by the media. Christy, with her restored faith, delivers an emotional account of the event in front of the church cameras. She concludes by explaining that miracles reside in love, that God is love, and that love is forgiveness. Miracles can happen in the strangest ways, for example, through people who happen to cross our path or friends who support us no matter what. They learn from God that they are never truly alone. Some people still didn't trust Christy when she said Anna was seriously ill, and that's normal. However, through trust and prayer, Christy brought comfort to her dying daughter in her final days, and she ended up happy in the love of God. He made the journey from Boston to see Anna and her mother and expressed his gratitude for the time and care they devoted to his daughter. Christy also expressed her gratitude for his presence. A Thanksgiving prayer was said before the long-awaited pizza evening. It was praise for the delicious meal, the time spent together, and for all that it is today. He considers each day as a miracle in its own way. Don't forget to like our videos, share your thoughts on the film, and subscribe to receive the next film and mini previews.